What's going on, guys? Welcome to Keepin the Comic, and today we are diving in to Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 5. Now, this issue starts off 1 year ago, and it starts off talking about the Enforcer. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know much about this character. A lot of you guys might, but I don't claim to know everything. But anyway, his name is Charles Delancey Jr. He's a criminal mercenary and assassin for hire. So Spider-Man pulls up and he's just like, targeting a squad van full of cops? That's just rude. Good thing we're in the neighborhood, right, Wolverine? And he's like, shut up. He goes, you see the way he talks to me? Now, I'd like to pull out a writer's issue I have right here. He has on the black suit, but a few issues ago when he woke up with the suit, he had no clue what the suit was, and he said it was retro 80, it was kind of cool. So how'd he have it on a year ago? But anyway, Logan goes in for the kill, and Spidey's like, Logan, don't. And we go back to today, and Doc Ock is with Dread Shadow, and he is pissed. He's like, I had him. The Wolverine was in my mercy, and you teleported him away. Dread Shadow says, not my doing. It was the Spider. Ock responds, you planned for this, didn't you? The Spider getting away. Dread Shadow says, yes, we've reached the endgame. All the pieces have gathered on the board where they should be. Spidey's like, Teresa, what did you do? She says, I killed the man that killed our parents. 2 days ago, something called the Janus Directory was leaked on the dark web. In the file was a video of our parents' last moments, of their plane crashing. I was on that plane, Peter. Somehow, I survived the crash and was rescued. But he's the one that brought the plane down in the first place. He was working for the Finisher. It's all in the video. Peter says, I know, I saw it, and she interrupts. And I did what you apparently couldn't. Peter says, about that. And Wolverine's charging claws out at her. Logan, don't. That's my sister. And Peter has some dialogue that says, I'd hoped the news that I have a sister would shock Logan out of his rage. So much for that brilliant plan. By the way, I don't know why Peter thought that would work with Logan. But he says, problem is, by stopping Logan from killing Teresa, I gave her the perfect opportunity to do the same to him. Teresa, don't. Even weakened, Logan's strong. I'm practically popping my stitches to keep him in place. And while this is going on, Dread Shadow comes and he's like, well, isn't this appropriate? Spider-Man, once more trying to turn Wolverine away from murder, without regard for the consequences. And he slams his sword down and sends all three of them flying. He continues, going to bed every night, sleeping sound, believing you did good, that you're heroes. But I showed you, you're not heroes. You're just irresponsible men, without honor, just killers, by other means. You freckleless bastards. And he ripped his shirt off, and these missiles come flying out of his arm. He says, my daughter is dead because of you. And I think I had the same look as these guys, because now we finally understand why he has such quarrel with Spider-Man and Wolverine. And he blows them up. Years ago, you fought the Enforcer. He'd killed hundreds over his career, and the two of you had a chance to end him. But you, Spider-Man, would never, could never, do what's necessary. And Wolverine, you were pretending to be a human being, showing mercy. You sent Delancey to Raft, but he got out and went on a crime spree that killed Evelyn. A few years ago, S.H.I.E.L.D. came into possession of the Janus Directory. S.H.I.E.L.D. disbanded shortly thereafter, but the directory gave me everything I needed to know about the two of you, including the curious details of why Spider-Man was so obsessed with Richard and Mary Parker. The explanation that you were their son was obvious. And while he's still putting the ass whooping to these guys, he says, less so was how to put the video in front of you without suspicion. But Branscombe provided that instrumental with the proper motivation. It was easy, so easy to set you two against each other and her against you. You're not heroes, which is why it was so simple to get your enemies to work against you, to show you the truth about yourselves. Peter webs him up, Wolverine grabs him, and he's like, enough! Dread Shadow goes, go ahead, kill me, or try to. You'll just be proving my point. Wolverine says, I haven't the first clue what point it is you're trying to make, bub. But if it's that killing's wrong, look in the bleeping mirror. And Dread Shadow says, you think you're heroes? That you can make life and death choices? You can't. Wolverine says, and if you're saying I'm damned if I kill you, and I'm damned if I don't, I gotta choose the first option. Spidey, with his female silhouette, says, don't do it. Let's handle this the right way. Maybe send him to prison. And Dread Shadow breaks out of the webs and says, prison? Under what authority? On what charge? I don't know, dude. Let's start with kidnapping, attempted murder. I mean, I'm sure there's more charges we can add, but either way, he goes, I've broken you both down. I've shown who you are at your weakest in your worst. I've done everything I set out to. And just then, he's stabbed in his back right through his chest. And Teresa has a cold moment. She says, you wanted to show them they're not heroes. Fine. I never was one. He gets up and says, you're all so predictable. It's really quite pathetic. But you can't change your natures that I've shown you. Remember this. And he goes to teleport. And Spidey's like, no. And he goes, what? No. Spidey tackles Teresa and says, get down. And Dread Shadow blows up. Wolverine says, what? I don't get a get down? And Spidey says, you've got a healing factor, remember? Wolverine responds, it's a little busy right now dealing with the Moore Mesa present your sister gave me. Can't say I'll miss the bastard. Spidey says, neither will I. But that doesn't mean that he was altogether wrong. I mean, I try to think of the consequences of what it is we do. I try to think about all the people in harm's way. But maybe he's got a point. Maybe we're playing God when we have no right to. And maybe we make mistakes. When we do, we should be accountable for them. Wolverine says, you can't let him twist your head around like that, bub. And Spidey responds, he didn't twist my head around. He just got me to see things from his perspective. Teresa says, Peter, the two of you aren't responsible for his daughter's death. And Spidey says, we are. That's what being heroes means. And Wolverine says, ask me? Being a hero means stepping up when guys like Dread Shadow put innocent people in danger. And sometimes, yeah, that requires us to play God. Dread Shadow just didn't like the call we made. But that doesn't mean it was the wrong one. Spidey says, I guess. Either way. So a week has passed, and now, all three of them at Rand Enterprises. Peter's like, thank you both for coming. The idea that the footage of our parents' death just happened to be damaged struck me a little too convenient. So I spent the last week using Rand resources to clean up and restore the video. And there's more. A lot more. Teresa says, like what? Peter says, I don't know. I haven't seen. I thought we should all watch together. And then we see the footage. Clear skies. Someone's freeze. What the hell are you doing on this plane? Wolverine says, my job. SHIELD called me in to protect you two. Word is, the Red Skull dispatched some guy called the Finisher to take you both out. Just as you were taking off, I spotted a C4 charge under the wing. I cut it away, but they must have had a backup. I can still smell and just then, the plane explodes. We're going down. I can't pull us up. None of the controls are responding. Wolverine says, I can survive the crash. You get the parachutes. You have a boy to get home to. Richard says, there aren't any chutes. Wolverine says, what? No. Mary. Oh my God. I'm sorry. And right before they crash, they say, I love you. Peter. He'll be okay. Ben and Mary. Logan says, Pete, I'm sorry. Peter says, I should be apologizing to you. Logan says, forget about it. You've got enough on your plate here. Teresa, saying nothing, walks off. Pete's like, Teresa. She says, I wasn't on the plane. He responds, that doesn't mean you're not, and she cuts him off. They didn't even mention me. The chameleon told me the Parkers might not be my real parents. I thought he was just doing it just to mess with my head, but he wasn't. And you can tell she's highly disappointed. Peter's like, Teresa, and Logan stops him. Let her go, bub. She just needs time to process this. The main thing is, it's over. Peter says, is it? I mean, Kraven and the rest? They're still out there. Logan responds, they're always out there, Pete. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. And we see Dr. Octopus going crazy. Dread Shadow! He's dead! Incinerated by one of his own teleportation devices, apparently. Kraven says, it's a poor hunter who makes himself the prey. Mysterio says, that's poetic, but what does it mean? And I can't speak Russian, but I can tell you Omega Red said, it doesn't matter. Kraven says, how many times do I have to tell you? English in front of the Americans. And Omega Red says, I said it doesn't matter. He is dead. It's over. And Mysterio says, actually, it's not. Captain blew himself up, did one thing right. He brought us all together. So what did you guys think of this issue? I mean, I do love the fact that they corrected the whole Wolverine killing Peter's parents because honestly, I would have been mad if they left it as that. We all know it was never supposed to be that type of story, but I do like the fact that these heroes have to live with consequences, and these consequences have led to creations of bad guys, so to speak, aka Dread Shadow being one of them, you know, and sometimes a lot of the good they do still comes with bad consequences. And I love when they put stories together like that. I do feel like this build-up to find out Dread Shadow was the head of this whole thing, just for him to blow himself up, was a cheap writer's cop-out. But that's my personal opinion. And also, the Sinister Four? I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment. And hey, if you've been rocking with these breakdowns, make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you check out keepinitcomic.com as it's the best way to support the channel. And we have some new merch that just dropped. And don't forget to hype this video using YouTube's new hype feature. It helps push our content to more comics fans just like you. And as always, thanks for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic. I'll catch y'all on the next one.